Most people lump every AI coding agent into the same bucket and assume they are all identical. To make it worse, the common belief is that the powerful ones are locked behind expensive subscriptions. But here is the surprise. Not all coding agents are the same. Some are just coding assistants that autocomplete the code, while others are true agents that take your goal, run with it, and fix their own mistakes. And yes, several of the best ones are accessible for free. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you will know exactly which AI coding agent is the right match for you, even if you have never written a line of code. I've been building and working with tech over a decade, and I've made just about every beginner mistake you can think of. My goal here is to share the shortcuts I wish someone had given me when I was starting out. So whether you are preparing for your first job or looking to grow in your tech career, subscribe so you can get the real-world advice you can apply right away. Now, I could just throw a list of tools at the end and call it a day, but that would miss the real point, because the real question isn't what's out there, it's what do you actually need. Are you a beginner with some experience with coding, a no-code enthusiast, or a professional developer? So before we talk about which AI coding agents are worth your time, let's zoom out for a second and figure out how to even tell them apart in the first place. The truth is, these AI coding agents live on a spectrum of autonomy. To understand this concept, let's take an example. Imagine 3 ways of getting across town. The first one is a bicycle. Sure, it's faster than walking. You get a little help from gears and wheels, but you're still pedaling, and that's your AI coding assistants. They will auto-complete your code, maybe explain a function, but you still run, debug, and patch everything yourself. Now the second option is an Uber. You hop in, tell the driver downtown please, and they will drive for you. Much more comfortable, and that's equivalent to your AI builders. You describe the app you want, they generate the scaffolding, sometimes even a whole project. But if the Uber driver takes a wrong turn or there is a detour, you are stuck figuring it out. And finally, there is this self-driving car. You set the destination, sit back, and it handles the traffic, reroutes around construction, and even parks by itself. And that's what a true AI coding agent is supposed to be. They plan, run, catch mistakes, fix themselves, and keep going until your app actually works. So next time when you say AI coding agent, you want to be absolutely sure what level of autonomy you are expecting from it. Now that you see the scale of autonomy, the natural question is which AI coding agent actually fall into each category and what use case they are actually best for. We categorize the AI coding agent spectrum into 3 levels: helpers, builders, and true agents. Each level solves a different kind of problem. Helpers sit at the very first level on the autonomy scale. They give you a burst of speed, but they never take over the journey. You're still the one coding your app all the way through the finish. GitHub Copilot's free tier can autocomplete functions and suggest boilerplate, but you still have to run, debug, and patch the code yourself. ChatGPT's free tier is excellent in explaining tricky concepts or generating small snippet, but it won't run or validate your projects. Claude's free version is strong for step-by-step reasoning through bugs, but it remains chat only. There is no execution or iteration loop. These are great when you need answers fast, but they don't close the loop. So what if you want a tool that can actually hand you a runnable project? By the way, if this is helping you out, please like and subscribe. It tells me to make more videos like this. And if you got a question or a different take, please drop it in the comments. I'm always curious to see what you think. Builders, on the other hand, sit in the middle of autonomy scale. They let you describe a destination in natural language and they will scaffold most of the project for you. But you're still the one making sure it reaches the finish line. For example, Lovable can take a single prompt like make me a budget tracker and return a full stack React app with live previews. It's great for non-coders, but if something breaks or the output isn't quite right, it won't fix itself. You will need to adjust prompts and the code. Bolt DIY, the open source and free version of Bolt.new, works locally with any model and generates full stack apps that you can deploy directly, but debugging and iteration are on you. Tray, on the other hand, gives you a full IDE environment with access to top models like GPT-5, Gemini, making it powerful for scaffolding but still requiring oversight. These tools can get you from idea to working code fast, but just like an Uber, if the driver takes the wrong turn, you are the one who has to intervene, which leads us to the final category: tools that don't just generate code. At the highest end of the autonomy scale are the tools that actually take responsibility for running it, catching errors, and trying again until something works. And this is what separates the true agents from builder, which is the feedback loop. Let's start with the first AI coding agent tool, Replit. A developer can open Replit, type "make me a quiz app," and then the agent will generate the whole project with multiple files. It runs the code right in the browser, shows the game working, and even lets you deploy it online, all without testing in your local environment. Our second example is Cursor AI. Let's say in Cursor AI, you ask it to add user login with email and password. Cursor edits all the files needed, runs the build, notices an error, fixes it, and tries again until the login works. You just don't get code suggestion, you actually get a working feature that passes its own build check. Switching to Gemini. Now, say you want to build a budgeting app and want to use Gemini. In Gemini CLI, you can spin up an agent to create the front end, another agent to set up the database, and yet another one to run the test, all in parallel. These agents work together in your terminal, and if one task fails, the others keep moving. Let's switch to Claude Code CLI. Here is a real example of how a developer wanted to add analytics to a game. Instead of writing the backend by hand, they created a tiny bird sub-agent. That sub-agent built the SQL queries, deployed the backend, and connected it to the game automatically. Claude Code coordinated all of it, so the developer didn't have to touch the infrastructure code. Lastly, Windsurf Cascade. When working on a React app, Cascade watches as you edit files and run commands. If it notices repeated errors in your terminal or redundant code in your project, it will jump in with the suggestion to refactor the code. At this point, you have seen the autonomy scale and the tools that live at each level. But I still haven't answered the question: what is the best AI coding agent? Here is the mistake most people make. They assume the best coding agent is simply the most powerful. The right tool depends less on the raw capability and more on who you are and what you are trying to achieve. Let's say you are a total beginner. You have never coded or shipped a project before. You just want to see something working on screen without touching a terminal. For you, Replit Agent v2 is the best starting point. It runs right in the browser, creates multi-file projects, runs them, and even deploys them. You type "make me a quiz game" and it hands back a playback version in minutes. If you prefer something more visual, Lovable can take an idea like "build me a budget tracker" and gives you a working app with live previews. Both tools give you instant wins, and you could claim that, hey, I built this without having to go through the code and setting up the infrastructure. And hey, if this all feels a bit overwhelming, I get it. I've been right where you are, and that's why I put together a free guide to help you figure out the best role for you and prep without wasting weeks on stuff you don't need. Grab it from the link in the description. It's totally free, and honestly, it will save you a ton of time. Now, let's say you are a startup founder. Your priority is in learning syntax. You've got an idea and you want to demo to your teammates, investors, or early users. Here, Lovable shines. It's designed for fast prototyping. You describe your app in plain English and you got a preview-ready full-stack project. If you want something you can host locally or extend further, Bolt DIY is another great choice. It's open source, works with multiple AI models, and can generate deployable apps straight from your machine. For founders, the key metric is speed to demo, and these tools turn a sketch on a napkin into a live prototype you can share within hours, not weeks. Now let's switch gear. Let's say you already code every single day. You don't need AI to replace you. You need it to multiply your output. Both Cursor's agent mode and Claude Code can edit across your whole project, run tests, and even auto retry fixes until the build passes. For you, as a professional developer, these tools don't take away your role, they actually free you from the repetitive grunt work so you can focus on design, architecture, and solving the problems that really matter. So the best AI coding agent isn't a single tool, it's the one that matches your role and your goals. Which raises the bigger question: if free tools are already this capable, what does that mean for the future of learning to code and writing software at scale? If AI can already build working apps from plain English, does it even make sense to learn coding yourself? And that's the question I'm gonna answer in the next video. Is it still worth learning to code in the age of AI? Now, spoiler alert, the answer isn't what most people expect. So if you ever wondered whether you should double down on coding or shift towards managing AI, you don't want to miss it. See you in the video.